What's up, Patriots fans? Nic Rohloff here at Patriots Today, and we have a fun show on tap for you guys on this nice little Saturday, and it's the Week 18 rooting guide for your Patriots. And if you're wondering, well, why do I need a rooting guide? It's not like the Patriots can make the playoffs or anything, but what can happen is the Patriots jump up to the number 2 pick. That is the highest they can go. The farthest they can fall is around 6 or 7, but realistically, it's only 5. I could explain that in just a second. But it is important to look at the current NFL draft order. The Bears have the number 1 pick locked up. Then the Commanders, Patriots, and Cardinals are all knotted at 4 and 12. Commanders have the easiest strength of schedule, which is why they're the highest. The Patriots right there in between the Commanders and Cardinals. And then the Giants looming with the 5th overall pick with a record of 5 and 11. So those are your top 5 teams, at least going into Week 18. But I want everyone that is watching, if you're not subscribed, to join the channel. If you sub, I have been told by Roger Goodell the Patriots will lose and actually get the number 2 overall selection. Do it. Don't jinx it. All jokes aside, though, we will update you on all Patriots rumors, and we will update you on what the Patriots' final pick will end up being Sunday afternoon. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. But I think it is also important to look at the strength of schedule for both Washington and New England, because that's why the Commanders are higher than the Patriots in the current draft order. The strength of schedule for the Commanders is 5-1-5. For the Patriots, it's 5-1-8. It's very close. And to break it down on how the actual strength of schedule is determined, well, it's all about the opponents played. Patriots' opponents this season are 141 and 131. And I see a little typo on screen, so I'll verbalize it for you. The Commanders' opponents are 140, 132. So it's a difference of 1 game. The Patriots' opponents have 1 more win and 1 less loss. And the Commanders, well, they have 1 less win and 1 more loss, which is why the strength of schedule for them is just a little bit better, favoring the draft rotation, at least as of now. So when you look at those 2 teams jockeying for the number 2 overall pick, it's I think important to look at who they are playing in the final week of the NFL season. New England is taking on the New York Jets, and the Commanders are taking on the Cowboys. Both teams are at home, let's say that, so it'll be in Foxborough in D.C. this Sunday. But the Patriots are 2-point favorites against the Jets. The Commanders, 13-point underdogs against Dallas, which makes sense because the Cowboys are still playing for some action. If they win the NFC East, so they aren't going to be rolling over by any means. So let's just, in this hypothetical scenario of this rooting guide that we're going to display for you guys for the Patriots getting a higher draft pick and potentially finishing number 2. Let's just assume both the Patriots and Commanders lose. Well, then how does the Patriots jump the Commanders? These are the 5 games that you have to watch and are the most important. And let's start off with Falcons versus Saints. That is the most important game of the weekend if both teams lose. And it's interesting because both teams have a chance to win the NFC South. So they are going to play that like a playoff game. Why is that game so important, though, you ask? Well, the Falcons have played the Commanders, but not New England. And the Saints have played the Patriots, but not the Commanders. So why is it important that the Falcons win? Well, if the Falcons win, that adds a win into the column of a team Washington has faced, boosting their strength of schedule. And if the Saints lose, who the New England Patriots have played but the Commanders haven't, that only helps the Patriots draft stock go lower. So it's a full game swing where the Commanders get a boost in strength of schedule with a win, and the Patriots' strength of schedule goes down. So that is a massive game if you're looking for both teams to lose and whoever wants that number 2 pick. Why are these other games important? Well, the Steelers-Ravens, for obvious reasons. The Patriots have played the Steelers, and they want to win to get that strength of schedule. We were rooting for the Ravens. That is also a mistake on my end. F. Rowley in the comment section. We want the Ravens to win to hurt the Steelers' strength of schedule. We look to the Texans-Colts game. We've played the Colts. We want the – I actually just realized I got these all backwards. Wow, this is on me. We want the Texans to win to move the Colts down in that record. We want the Bears to beat the Packers because the Commanders have played the Bears and we have not, so we want the Bears to add to the Washington Commanders' strength of schedule. And then Broncos-Raiders is an interesting one because obviously the Patriots have played both teams this year, so it doesn't really matter who wins or loses for the Patriots. But the Broncos and Commanders did play, so if the Broncos win that game, well, that means the strength of schedule for Washington gets a little boost. So that is who we are watching, and those are the most important games you have to watch this NFL Sunday. But it doesn't really mean anything, right, if the Patriots win. If they win, they're not going to get the number 2 pick unless the Commanders, Cardinals, Giants all win. So will the Patriots win this week? It's not what you want to happen. It's actually what you think will happen. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know if you guys think the Patriots will win this game and take themselves out of the number 2 pick in all likelihood. Sadly, I think it's inevitable, man. Like, I don't want the Patriots to win. We'll talk about that just in a second. But I just think it's automatic that the Patriots end up winning this ball game. They're at home against a Jets team that isn't that good, right? They're 2-point favorites. It's supposed to be an absolute bloodbath this weekend in terms of in terms of weather. So I don't really expect it to be high scoring. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, and I really believe that the Patriots will end up winning. Sorry, there's some graphical issues here I had to fix, but I think the Patriots win. It stinks, but I do think New England will win, even though I don't want them to. More to talk about here just in a second, but got to show some love to Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform out there. I play Prize Picks on a daily basis, and I actually have a Prize Picks ready to ride for tonight's NFL slate. I'm looking directly at the Colts and Texans matchup. C.J. Stroud and Gardner Minshew, must-win game for both teams. I'm taking the more than on the passing yards for each quarterback, 257.5 for Stroud, 240.5 for Gardner Minshew. You could take my picks, you could fade my picks, but join me at Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform that you can possibly use. That link will be in the comments and description of today's video. Some other games to look at, by the way, that we have to keep our eyes on. Eagles-Giants, because if the Patriots win, they can still get a top 4 pick at bare minimum if the Giants end up winning, because they're sitting there at 5-11. If they lose, they have a better strength of schedule. Then we play that whole song and dance one more time. So it's easier if the Giants are able to upset the Eagles. We want the Jaguars to beat the Titans. That will help our strength of schedule. And then Chiefs-Chargers, we also want the Chargers to win because they're sitting there at 5-11 as well. So that would take them out of potentially jumping New England, even if the Patriots end up getting a win. But the main reason why this is so important is because the draft prospects in this draft class, right? Like, I just want to quickly highlight 5 guys that have the probably highest potential of going inside the top 5 of this NFL draft. Obviously, Caleb Williams and Drake Maye highlight this draft class at the quarterback position. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., who we took in yesterday's video on our mock draft. We also have Joe Alt, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, who looks to be a stud. In the round out, probably the top 5 is quarterback out of LSU, Jayden Daniels. Those 5 names I just mentioned, if you told me those were the top 5 picks when all things are said and done in April, I wouldn't be shocked one bit. Those 5 are pretty elite prospects. You got 3 quarterbacks, a #1 wide receiver, and then to go alongside the #1 offensive tackle potentially and Joe Alt, those 5 can absolutely go in the top 5, but you obviously want to be taking either Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, or Marvin Harrison Jr. inside that top 3, and your life becomes very easy if you finish top 2, which is why we made this video in the first place. There are some other prospects I do want to talk about. Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver out of LSU. Olo Fushanu, offensive tackle from Penn State. Roma Dunze, wide receiver from Washington. Quarterback Michael Penix from Washington as well. And then Brock Powers, the tight end from Georgia. The reason why I did want to highlight them real quick is because if the Patriots do by chance win on Sunday, which I believe is going to be the case, and they fall to the 5th, 6th pick, those top 5 guys I mentioned, if they're out of range for New England, barring a trade up, these 5 guys are probably the people we're going to have to look at. Rome Odunze and Malik Neighbors are very intriguing because those two are elite wide receivers. And if the New England Patriots are picking at 6-7, Jayden Daniels is gone. Both Drake Maye and Caleb Williams are obviously gone. No MHJ. If I had to decide between Olu Fashanu and Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze at that 6-7 selection, probably lean going wide receiver, which is a tough call, but because you're going to need to replace Trent Brown at left tackle, but I think you just need a dynamic playmaker on the outside, and I think Odunze or Neighbors can be that person. But I mentioned some draft prospects. Name your favorite 2024 NFL draft prospect down below. Shout them out. Spam their name as much as you want down in the comment section. My favorite draft prospect is probably Drake Maye because I'm a North Carolina football fan, so I'd love to see him head to Foxborough as well. North Carolina to New England, how much better could it get? I do want to round out today's show by saying it is tough to do what we have to do this weekend. It's like, do we really want to root against the New England Patriots? That's our squad. You never want to root against your own team. But it's for the greater good of the franchise. And the future of this franchise is hinging on this weekend's outcome because if you lose and you get the number 2 pick, you could have your next franchise QB for the potential next 10 to 12 years. Very enticing. It's what you want. And if you lose this game and you miss out on Drake Maye and Caleb Williams, or if you win, and those two become franchise quarterbacks and are among the top 10 QBs in the NFL the next 10 years, well, you're going to be kicking yourself, which is why it is so important you lose this game and potentially have a top 2/3 selection. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Like I mentioned, we are going to update you on whatever pick the Patriots end up getting, depending on the outcomes of Sunday's game. So make sure you hit that sub button and come back on Sunday to find out where the Patriots will be picking, at least before potential trades for the 2024 NFL Draft.